Hello and welcome to another edition of Interview with DJ Nocturna. If you're watching on my YouTube channel, please like, subscribe, and share, and follow me if you like my interviews. Well, today I'm speaking with Jason Herring, who is one of the founders for the Charlotte-based collective called The Mystery Plan. He's based out in North Carolina. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
All the way from, I think I've interviewed a few people from North Carolina, and I'm really liking it. I don't know, sometimes I feel like I need to go there. If I'm getting all these interviews, that means, somebody lives over there. That means I'm supposed to go there somehow. I believe in this kind of karma thing.
Well, we would love to have you, and there's some lovely talent out here too that you would just fall in love with.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what.
I can see. I have a friend that lives near the area, and she would post these pictures, and I'm like, it looks like a storybook. It looks like something from a book, like a literature book. It's
Yes.
just beautiful, the
Yeah.
country, and you got probably the one of the most beautiful skies because it's dark. You can see the stars.
You not in Charlotte so much, but yes, out in the country for sure.
So,
I've loved Hawaii skies. When we were out there, they seem silver to me because here you have the light blue, but out there your skies are like silver, and it was beautiful.
oh yeah, yeah. So you mentioned to me earlier that you actually had your honeymoon here.
We did, yes,
Yeah. Wow.
back in 2006.
Wow. So why did you guys pick Hawaii? Did you always have an affinity to Hawaii?
Well, I mean, Hawaii has always been a destination spot for a lot of folks because it's so beautiful out there. But we have a bunch of friends out there, and
Oh.
so we just took a couple weeks off and just came out there and just hung out, and we stayed in Honolulu for a bit and went and saw some friends up on the North Shore for a bit.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah, it was lovely.
Did you go to the other islands like Maui or oh,
No,
okay. Well,
we
then
did.
you need to make a second trip here again.
Yes.
But that's great you got friends here because going to the North Shore is one of we have some of the most beautiful waters, waves, and surfers dream to come here, and
Oh
just
yeah. Yeah, a friend of ours, who's a seven-time world champion, lived on the North Shore, and his neighbor was Jack Johnson, the singer and
yeah,
song.
yeah.
And so it was just pretty cool to experience all of that out there. It was just amazing.
Well, I hope you guys can come here in the future.
Yes,
But,
well, consider us. We'll come.
well, I'm really happy to have you because I know you're releasing an album pretty soon. It's called The Haunted Organic Machines, which is going to be released on March 31st. And
Yes,
this
ma'am.
interview will air the following day. But I know you have some EPs. You released an EP called What a Day.
Yes.
That's out already. And I know you got some remixes too. But before we go there, I wanted to talk a little bit about your background. Because this is gonna be your is this gonna be your seventh album? Something like that?
Yeah, seventh
Yeah,
full length.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
and a bunch of EPs in between there and stuff
I
like that.
know. Yeah, it's amazing. I know you had you formed in 2010. So you are the founder, Jason Herring, along with Paul Jensen.
Yes.
Is that
Yeah.
correct? Yep.
Oh
So
yeah, he and I just wrote and produced everything, and then Amy decided she wanted to come sing with the group, and that's a great story in itself. But she decided to come in and do that, and then we kind of realized that we needed to put a band together. So after about five or six different lineup changes, we finally got a nice little combo of people to write songs with and do shows with, and it's been
and
really nice.
and for those who don't know who Amy is your wife.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very significant when you can I think it's very important. It's very important, I guess you can say, or special if you can work with somebody in music and you can do the same thing, especially when they're your partner.
Yes.
Yeah, because
It's nice. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing we ever really fight about are over songs. So, it's a pretty good arrangement, pretty good situation.
so tell us about the how did you start it out in music? Because I know you formed in 2010. Your first album was The Future Ain't What It Used to Be.
Yeah. Well, that was the first Mystery Plan. I decided I wanted to go into the music business, I would say 1990. And I started a band called the Groovy Disco Bunnies with my friend Jason Hanley. And then we kind of moved on. Then I did Moonburn and we did Trust Fall after that, did Moonburn, and then Latino Chrome and the Interstellars. And then finally, we've kind of settled on the Mystery Plan. So, and I was also in Muchacho electronic group with that guy Smitty, and Farfalla, another electronic group with Jay Thomas. So, yeah, kind of this.
So how did you get that name, the Mystery Plan? What was the whole thing? It's such a mystery.
Yeah, that's where I got it from. I have an affinity for murder shows on TV,
Oh, okay.
especially late at night when I'm going to sleep. And there was this one show, I want to say it was a Dateline. I'm not sure, probably a
Oh,
Dateline.
yeah, yeah.
But the narrator was talking about these teenagers that were going to go murder somebody, and the narrator said, and the two teens set out on their mystery plan. And I was like,
Oh.
no way. That is so cool. So that kind of stuck with me, and it just ended up being the name of the band, you know?
Because I know the earlier album you have your daughter's name in one. I know you have a daughter.
Yeah, Greta.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. She's in that first. There's a song of I could hear
Greta
background.
Tommy. Yeah. Yeah, that's when she was, I mean, 1 year old walking around in her mom's shoes singing songs and stuff. So we recorded her doing that. It was very silly and the sweetest thing I ever did see. So
Oh,
uh
that's quite an inspiration, I guess, to start to see how this has evolved, you know, because now you have you have another album that came out in 2010. The Future Ain't What It Used to Be,
that's right.
and then you had Chateau Beaumont.
Chateau Beaumont, yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
yeah.
And that was basically a compilation of a few of the EPs that we released, around that time, so we could have everything on one record. And that was a lot of fun to make. You like that?
So, what was Amy already a part of the band at that time?
Yes,
Okay.
she was singing on probably two or three songs at that point, and then it just kind of grew from there.
So, who are the primary? Because I know you sing as well, right? On
I
your
do.
music, yep.
Yes.
So you guys kind of take turns. So who's the songwriter and who are the maybe you could tell us like who's the singers and what they play? Because I know right
Well,
now you've got 5 people in the band
yes.
currently.
So I play piano and guitar, and I do write some of the lyrics. And Amy writes a lot of the lyrics, and she's kind of the main singer. Um, we have Jefferson Chester, who plays drums and percussion, and Otis Hughes, who a lot of the melody that you hear, he's the bass player, and he comes up with like all these counter melodies, which really brings out the, because I'm not the best guitar player or best piano player. So having him fill in on top of what I do just really pretty much makes all the songs. And then we round all that off with Patty McLaughlin Thomas, who sings backup and plays flute and tambourine and stuff like that
Oh
as
wow.
well. Yeah.
Wow, that's
Uh,
really wonderful.
and then we have, our Paul Jensen was the first producer that we had on our first three records. And now he retired. And so now we have Rob Tavaglione, who owns Catalyst Recording, where we record most of our records now. So
You know
that's
the other interesting thing, of course, is that you've also collaborated with the legendary producer John Fryer
oh yeah,
on
yeah,
3 albums, and yeah, he's
yes.
a wonderful producer and one of the very legendary with the 4AD label,
Oh
this
yeah.
Mortal Coil. So
And
how?
he's also a very lovely gentleman. I
Oh
love that guy.
yeah, totally, yeah, very nice, very good heart. Yeah,
Yes,
totally like just authentic,
yes.
and
He made me, meeting him probably is what changed kind of our trajectory, because it really got me to bring my game up a little bit, because I mean, like, that's John Fryer. I've told him in LA, I was hanging out with him, and I was like, I don't know how many times you've heard this, but I was like, I've been in love with you since I was like 16 years old, since I first put on a Cocktail Twins record. And he was like, oh yeah, I hear that all the time.
So how did you guys collaborated?
Well, we sort of met online on Facebook. Louise Trehi from Swallow, 4AD band Swallow, posted one of our videos
Ah,
on her Facebook page and said, hey, this is my favorite song about stars right now. She posted Those Stars video, and John Fryer liked it. And so I was like, and I saw that name on there. First of all, I was tickled silly that Louise would post one of our songs, but then I saw that John Fryer liked it, and so I was like, is that him? And I kind of clicked on his thing, and it was the John Fryer. So we became friends on Facebook, and passed music around for a minute, and finally I asked him if he felt like working with me, and he said that I needed to come out to LA, and let's talk about it. So I went out and spent 3 or 4 days in LA and
oh,
hung out with him, and we decided we were going to make a few records. And um, I was just, like I said before, I was just tickled silly about it.
yeah, I totally understand. That's how I feel every time I talk to him and everything. Just his whole music and just the history behind just everything that I grew up listening to.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely had a lot to do with how my brain works musically now.
Wow, that's very inspirational. So I know he was a
Yeah.
part of both of you and him produced Queensland Ballroom, which is the album you released in 2017.
Yes, that was a lot. Just
That
he
was
and I.
the first one. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was that's the first collaboration, right? That whole album. Just a
yeah.
wonderful album, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and I could see the Fryer influence there. And
Oh
then
yeah,
you also did the other two album with him, right?
yeah. We did. After that was Zsa Zsa, which he did. We worked together on most of those songs as well. And then um, we did sort of another compilation on vinyl of like a few of the EPs. So he's all over that. And then he did for the remix album, Thought Bubbles. He did this really
Oh
strange
yeah,
and
yeah.
weird remix, like an 11-minute long epic remix of a song, and of Ula Heat Ray. And it just, I was like, what the hell is going on here? And I keep listening to it and find new things in it all the time. I mean, 11 minutes. That was just crazy.
No, yeah.
But he didn't work with us on this album because we couldn't afford him, first of all. And I wanted to see if I could do the thing myself.
Oh
So
yeah,
Rob and I sat down and spent the last year on on trying to do it ourselves and living up to the expectations that
yeah.
Pryor has given us and everyone else. So hopefully we've done that.
Electric Love. I know you did a video on that one. That's one of the singles. And
Yes.
John Fryer is also in that video. I kind of saw him a little bit. I saw a little thing on him. Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah,
that's a great
yeah,
song.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's just he and I. He and I play everything on that song. Me and John Fryer. So and I was tickled that he would be in the video too. So
You must have had a really good support from your family growing up because to most people who are in the music world, sometimes they don't get the support. But did you get the support from your family? Being,
well, my father was in the music business. He was a
oh,
DJ on the radio in North and South Carolina for decades. And of course, when I was coming up as a young lad, I rebelled against his music and hippie ways, and I became a athlete. And I think I even registered Republican when I turned 18 because I was rebelling against my parents. But once I decided that that wasn't the way to go, when I was in college, I told my dad that I wanted to go into the music business. And he goes, son, whatever you do, don't go into the music business. You will be poor.
Oh,
you'll be struggling your whole life. And I was like, man, he's not the boss of me. I'm going into the music business. And I do feel very fulfilled emotionally, but yes, it's been a struggle. He was right about the money part. But
yeah.
other than that, they've been very supportive, and they're just good folks, and my sister and I were very lucky to have those guys.
Is your sister also in the in music world?
Well, she's not in the music world currently. She's much better than I am. She can play violin and guitar and piano. She even played on stage in Carnegie Hall back in 2000, maybe 99. But no, she runs the art department of the South Carolina Library in Columbia. So
Oh,
she's
wow.
still in the art scene.
Yeah. Like I was mentioning earlier, that it's really good to have a support from your partner, especially somebody that you spend every single day with, right? Like your wife, for example. They have collaborations with duos, right? Like, for example, you go back in time, look at all the husband and wife connection, like Sonny and Cher. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm just thinking back, even siblings, like the Carpenters, right? They're
yeah,
siblings. But
uh,
there's John Paul McCartney and Linda McCartney, they
yep,
they were very, I mean, even though Paul McCartney was his name was there, but she was a big part of that of his life growing up and just producing like some of the best songs, best albums ever.
indeed.
So that's, and even Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham, right? I mean, they're
Yes,
yeah. So I just feel like when you have that somebody that you connect with, and they support you, it makes it so much easier to find the destiny of where you need to be to evolve into where you want to be. Do you feel like you and your wife have done that together in that sense? Because I mean, having like this is your seventh album. That's a long ways. You got Haunted Organic Machines.
uh-huh.
You know, I
Uh, I will say that having Amy be a part of the creative process and making this art, it's made it a little more emotional and a little more. It's a more beautiful experience because we have that we share. That
yeah.
we've created a child, but we also create songs together. Every week or every month
Yeah,
or
and then
whatever.
that's like your second baby. Second.
Right, exactly. And what we argue about, say we're doing a show and they want us to play an hour, we'll argue over which songs we have to cut out of the set. No, not that one. No, let's leave that one, or well, let's take this one out. No, we can't take that song out of the set either. So it's made it a beautiful experience, and I'm glad. I'm not even sure I'd still be doing it if she wasn't in it, honestly. Um,
Yeah, I can kind of sense that you guys have that strong bond that can really um I mean, it's a lot of responsibility. I know. I mean, it's just like it's good to have somebody there who supports you, because then it gives you more motivation in many ways.
yeah, yes, indeed,
I mean,
yes,
you can't complain and say you're out again. When are you gonna be home?
exactly.
Right? So
I mean, that's kind of how it started because when we were dating and when we first got married, she was, I'd leave and go out on the road and, I'd be gone for a weekend at a time. And she'd be like, I don't know. I don't trust all them bitches out there. And I'm like, girl, if you saw how boring it was on the road, you wouldn't be saying that. And so I said, look, hey, you got a really lovely voice. Why don't you learn, let's write a couple songs together and you come out on the road with us and you'll see how absolutely boring it is, to be out on the road when nobody really knows who you are. You're playing little clubs and sure enough, she did it and got hooked. And I'm so glad that she did get hooked.
yeah. So this EP that you're releasing, this is the I know you've had several EPs and remixes. The album Thought Bubbles.
Uh
That's
huh.
a remix album that you released right after, I guess, in the middle of the pandemic, right?
Yeah, yeah, because Zsa Zsa came out right when the pandemic was hitting, and we had to cancel our whole. We had like a 20-day tour that summer, and
Mm.
we had to cancel all of that. And so what we decided to do was repackage some of those songs and make "You Also Have Eyes," and then also do a remix project with some of our favorites like Simon Mills from Bent, Steve Cobby from Fila Brasilia, Jaw Freedom, uh, John Fryer. I just wanted to hear different people's versions of some of those songs, and I think
You know,
like it.
how would you describe your music to someone who's never heard your band before? How would you describe? Because I can. It's beautiful. It's it's very soothing. It's very I don't know. It makes you feel good when I listen to your music. How would
That
you
means
describe it to someone? Because it has a dark side as well. Yeah.
yes, yeah. I would call it. I would say kind of moody dream pop, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah.
Kind of. It's definitely moody. That's the word I keep going to. Moody, dreamy stuff.
Yeah, and those remixes. I know you even have a song called "Vampires Are Lucky," which I think is a is a wonderful title. Are we really lucky? I guess
Well,
we are. I guess we live forever, but that's I don't know if that's a luck or I don't know if that's a blessing or curse to live forever. Uh,
well, if the poem that soliloquy, I guess, that's being spoken in there is from the movie Bad Lieutenant, and it's when they're doing drugs, shooting up heroin or whatever, and she's giving that speech to Harvey Keitel's character, and it's almost sad the way she's talking about how lucky they are, and uh, it just really stuck with me, And when I pitched the idea to John Fryer, he was like, "Oh my God, that's great, do it and send it to me." So yeah, that's a pretty heavy song if you can make out what she's saying in there. It's kind of weird.
so this EP, I know your album is coming out, and you released so far a song called "What a Day," and then it has a remix as well, and then there's another track on the EP. How
Absolutely.
many how many are you releasing in the album? How many?
That's it. The album, the next single that comes out is going to be Big Bliss, and that's just going to be released when the album comes out. And we may do a single with a B-side on that, but probably not. I think we'll just use the album version and all of that stuff on
Oh, okay. So how many tracks?
it. There are 8 tracks on
Oh,
this
okay.
on Haunted Organic Machines.
Is there a specific so what is Haunted Organic Machines? What is the inspiration behind that one?
It's what humans are. We're haunted organic machines.
We are right. We're a
We're
mystery clan.
yeah, yeah. It's us. That's all. It's it was we were writing this during the pandemic, so it was there's some moments that are a little darker on the
Oh,
album.
that's nice. I like
And
that.
yeah, but when we were coming, the last song that we wrote for the album was "What a Day," because we were coming out of the pandemic, and I'm talking with Amy. We're sitting in the studio, and I'm like, let's do something kind of fun and a little more light because we've been doing such gloomy stuff lately. Let's do something really uplifting. So we
Yeah.
decided to write a pretty song, and that's what we did.
Yeah, so this album will be released March 31st called Haunted Organic Machines. The EP is out now. It's called What a Day. You can find it on your Bandcamp page.
Yes, ma'am. And it's in some record stores, mainly in the southeast of the state of the continental U.S. But if anyone out there wants us to send you a copy, we can. Just email us at 10 millimeter Omega.
Yeah, it'll be released on 10 millimeter Omega. Tell us about that record label, 10 millimeter Omega Recordings.
Yes. I started it back in, well, we started doing shows and releasing like tapes and stuff like that, some CDs back in the 90s. But our first official national, international release was with Red Eye Distribution, and that was a good deal we had. And that was in 2000, and that was with the Charlotte Sometimes compilation. And and then we just started going from there. I think then we went on to releasing the Interstellars, and then Farfalla, and then a few more compilations, and and then we got into Cement Stars, and then the Mystery Plan, and it was kind of went from there. Anya, who else is on the label? Micah Ga, who was in the Belt. We put out his kind of space jazz record, and Heart of a Ghost, which is kind of like a country, kind of darker country stuff. Um,
Oh,
Von,
wow.
Von Funkhauser DJ mixes, stuff like that. Uh, Everything from the label has to be from the Carolinas of in some way. Um, like even somebody we released somebody that lives out in California now, but they were from the Carolinas, and so that kind of got them in there. But like all the artwork that we use on the albums, they're all Carolina artists,
Oh,
Carolina
so they're all
photographers.
different artists for the different.
That's
You
right.
know, I noticed that they're very. Yeah. Wow.
And we try to bring attention to some of the artful the more artful side of music in the Carolinas. But not really a whole lot of radio material, but it's definitely interesting and beautiful music. So everything from hip hop to country and jazz, it's all there.
And I know you guys also you also work with uh Ian Masters
Yes.
in
Oh
one of
yeah.
the Pale Saints. Yeah, that's
No
great. Yeah,
thanks.
wonderful.
Oh, he's also a lovely cat, very witty, and yeah, we wrote and produced "We All Get Down Together," and that was a dream. We also did a song with Peter Anderson from the Ocean Blue. That was Wonder Why, and gosh, who else? I'm drawing a blank now, but I think one thing that really that I really enjoy is being able to actually write and do music with people that I've loved for years and years. It's just
I know that's
um,
wonderful. Yeah.
I love it.
And then you even have a little taste of rap music in there in one of the tracks. Silver
Oh,
Lining, I think. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Which
That's
yeah, it works pretty good. It kind of yeah, it has a little bit of the Massive Attack kind of feel to it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah. Well,
wonderful.
thank you.
That
We try to do some different kind of sounding stuff from time to time.
yeah, it's all beautiful stuff. I mean, I love a lot of the tracks. I mean, Al Gore rhythms is it has a little bit of that trip hopish kind of vibe to
Yeah,
it. I really like.
yeah. With Snap Nation doing the lead vocals on that one, she's amazing. And yeah, that was a different kind of a different. It was a departure from what I usually write, how I usually write, and it was fun to do.
And of course, big shout out to Shameless Promotion PR who does Shauna does just I keep saying how what wonderful clients she has. They're all everybody's been so nice, So
Oh yeah,
so easy to connect with.
oh
Yeah.
yeah. Shauna's great. We absolutely adore her and everything that she does for us and the music scene, just in general. She does great work. We just love her to pieces.
Yeah, she really cares about her clients. It's so obvious, I mean, just she makes sure that everybody is taken care of and just all that.
Oh
So
yeah, she's amazing. Hmm. And and plus we get to talk to good folks like you. You know.
thank you very much. Well, I think we're all full circle. I think everybody's connected. Like you said, you've been to Hawaii, and I feel like I need to go to North Carolina because I seem to be doing some interviews with guys over there. So I don't know, there must be some kind of maybe I need to visit there and I don't know, I mean, you maybe I'll find a treasure. I
Well,
don't know.
we would love to have you, and I will take you around to everywhere you go.
Yeah, well, I hope you come back to Hawaii and maybe have a second honeymoon here.
That'd be great. I'm scared if I do come back to Hawaii, I probably won't leave though.
I know, yeah, it's hard to leave Hawaii, really, it is.
Yes.
So, do you guys have any upcoming plans, like some live shows or anything like that?
Yeah, we have a bunch of shows lined up for the spring and summer, mainly in the southeast, just because it's hard to afford to go anywhere else. But we'll be playing between Atlanta, Georgia, and Virginia, probably a lot. Um, we may get up to New York City for a night or two, but probably mainly just down in the southeast. Our first show that kicks off our touring season is in Charlotte, North Carolina, at Petra's Bar in the Plaza Midwood neighborhood, and we're playing with an absolutely amazing band called MOA. And that guy Smitty, who does a lot of the remixes that you've
Yeah.
heard,
Hmm.
he's going to be DJing, doing a DJ set too that night. So we're looking forward to it.
So you're a DJ too, right?
I am,
Oh yeah,
yes.
like a club DJ also.
Well, more of a lounge,
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, yeah, okay.
lounge
Oh wow.
music. Not I. I used to could hold a dance floor, but now I'd rather just people sit and chill and
No, I like that too. That's great. I mean, I like that. Like, just that's the kind of music you want to just sit down and have a nice martini to. You don't want to. You know what I mean? You want to have a
yeah,
martini.
you don't
Yeah.
want to bang it out. So I have a residency at the AC Hotel in Ballantyne, Charlotte, every Friday night, and it's a gorgeous hotel, very fancy, very shoo shoo, and I get to play in the lounge there on Friday nights, and it's really cool.
I'm having a memory here. I don't know if you ever saw the movie. I don't know if that hotel is in where you live. I could be wrong. I think it's somewhere in time. I'm not sure if it's.
The Christopher Reeve movie.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in. I don't know. It might not be. I know it's somewhere in around the area somewhere. It's an island. You have to take a boat or a plane to get there, and the
Is it
hotel
Jane
where that film.
Seymour? Is that Jane Seymour and
Yeah,
Christopher Reeve?
Jane Seymour. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that movie. I don't.
I have to look. I could be wrong. Somebody's probably gonna say, no, it's not that. Yeah, I gotta look and see. It's a great film, actually. It's just
Yes, it is. I love that movie.
I mean, that's the kind of I imagine, like, that's like it's such a beautiful location where they filmed that. And I know you have to, like, it's a whole it's one of these places where people would actually, I mean, they have a following for that show, for that movie. Even though he passed away and everything, they still
Yeah,
have a group
no
of
way.
people. Yeah, there's a following. There's a group of people. It's like a cult classic. It's one of those things where people. I mean, I would like to go to that hotel and see where exactly they filmed that movie. It's just I've seen that movie so many times.
Hmm.
I like movies that go back. That's kind of magical that way, where you kind of meet like a soulmate, and then where you lose them when you see a penny that goes back at a different time, and they're like, oh my god, and then
Yeah,
it's so beautifully tragic. And
yeah,
it's like yeah. So anyway, I could be wrong. I don't know what's I gotta now I'm gonna go look and see where that
yeah. I
hotel
would have to
is
look
at.
that up as well. Yeah,
But congratulations on your new EP. What a day. And on release on 10 millimeter Omega recordings. The album, the LP, Haunted Organic Machines, will be out March 31st. And if people want to check that out, it's up on your Bandcamp page, the
hmm
Mystery Plan.
yep. And we'll have the pre-order up this week for Haunted Organic Machines. That should be up Monday or Tuesday.
And that's produced by you and Rob. I'm gonna make it.
Tag me up. Hmm.
Yeah. And what a day. I know there's a disco. It says disco. Is that the name of the remix?
Well, there's two versions that are on the album. There's a band version, and then there's a kind of a disco version. And
Okay,
so
I
this
like
is a
that.
bridge between the two.
Do,
Uh,
do you guys like disco?
I love disco.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
disco and house music. Yeah, I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, I wish people would do more. I know there's a new disco or whatever it's called. Yeah, I know that I just wish that disco would just come back, the disco from the 70s,
Yeah. What are you doing tonight? We're going to the discotheque.
I know.
Yeah.
I wish they could bring back those. That's the foundation of dance music.
Oh, absolutely. Yes,
With
indeed. Yeah.
with the disco ball and everything, just like the way it used to be with the flare pans and the John Travolta.
Oh
The
yeah, that's my parents' generation. They were big into that.
Yeah, it's such a just a beautiful time for me. I mean, I love disco. It's one of the things that really get to my heart.
Yeah, me too.
Even though I'm all dark and right now I'm wearing a very I guess I don't know. I don't know why I wore this. It's a dinosaur shirt. That's a dinosaur on it, but
Oh yeah, I see that now. Very
yeah.
lovely. You look very lovely and
Thank you.
very
I'm actually going to a fundraiser. That's why I'm wearing this. But yeah,
okay.
um, right after this, so it just worked out for the best. I mean, it brings a little more light. It's not good to have
Yeah,
all. I like a little bit more, a lot of light, dark and light together. I think it's just perfect blending of
that's
harmonious blending.
yin and yang.
Right. Well, God, thank you so much for this interview. I really learned a lot just from one sitting with an artist. And
Well, I really, really appreciate you taking the time to even talk to me. I think that's awesome. So
yeah,
thank
well,
you.
no, thank you. Thank you for being here and just telling us a little bit more about the mystery plan. And those out there who's wondering what the mystery is all about, then they need to check out the your music and your and your Bandcamp page.
Well, very
If
good.
you
Well,
guys have any upcoming plans for that, I know it's probably too. I mean, you haven't released the album yet, but is there anything else that you guys might be working on in the future that you thought about?
just the next single, Big Bliss. The video should be done, next week, and it should
Big
be
Bliss.
released pretty soon. And then the album, and
Okay,
then
well,
shows. That's pretty much kind of where we're at right now.
we're looking forward to playing this interview on the release date, which the day after the release date, so April 1st, we'll get this out. All
Well,
right.
that's great. I look forward to seeing it. And thank you so much for everything you do. I appreciate it.
Jason Herring of the Mystery Plan. Thank you so much. Okay, let me just turn this off.